All right, let's give it up a bit for my big brother here. Amen. He was talking about my mom, and I was going to say some things, but, you know, that's a strong woman there because she raised about 50 boys. You know, because she had 4, but then we had all our friends. It was always a house full of boys. Yeah, 51, yeah. Oh. So at this time, I'm going to call to the platform the guy that had the vision. See, it's something about the lack of vision, the people perish. So I thank God for visionaries in this time, in this generation. People that ain't afraid to step out there and what God said do, in spite of what people say. So again, this man had the vision to put this together, and he wasn't moved by the statistics. He wasn't moved, you know, by a lot of the bureaucracy that may have been in his way. Y'all, we on the Plaza. Maybe some of y'all understand what I'm talking about. We on the Plaza. Oh, okay, amen. So again, that takes vision. You know what I'm saying? And then to be talking about black issues on the Plaza? Oh, man, come on.
That's a good point, my little brother. The Plaza. Do y'all realize that J.C. Nichols, we're standing on his property. J.C. Nichols was the biggest proponent, was the biggest cheerleader for restrictive covenants. Do y'all know what restrictive? Hey, this is that stuff I learned in them ebony books that I got in the encyclopedia. Restrictive covenant means your black ass couldn't live here. I'm sorry, Pastor. I toned down the president by the Putain thing. I toned it down. That's what restrictive covenants meant. Look where we stand in. Look where we stand in. Thank you.
So it takes a man with vision to step out there and do something like this. So again, I'm honored. I'm privileged. Like as I said earlier, growing up, many have confused me with him. So many times people thought I was him, and I know that's an honor for him to look so much like me. But at this time, I'm going to introduce to some, present to others, Pastor Devan L. Taylor.
Oh, me.
All right, y'all, give it up for these guys.
Yes, sir.
I said, give it up for these powerful speakers. And the power is just in being able to do it. I said the power is in being able to do it. Now, I want y'all to look around and just see some of your neighbors and your friends that are here. And they say in a crowd of more than 25 or more, 1 out of 4 is ugly. So I want you to look around. If you see 3 people that ain't ugly, guess what?
It's you.
You must be the ugly one. So once Terry goes live with me, then we're going to, once he goes live, then we're going to, because sometimes, you know, you could do something and people get the message after the fact. It's not going to take me that long to get this into your ear gate, but there is absolutely, I mean, they talked about J.C. Nichols and people talked about their family rearing, but the bottom line is you. What are you going to do? So a theme came up in my mind from a song that's real popular. And it was a question asked in the song, and y'all love this song. Both Christians and non-Christians. Y'all love this song, and the song said, "Turn down for what?" How many know that song? Come on, by show of hands, how many know turn down for what? You be at the baseball game, turn down for, get a little bit, yeah, turn down for what? I'm gonna give you the reasons to turn down. Because out of 6 billion people on the earth, only 3% of business owners are black. I broke those numbers down. Out of 6 billion people on planet Earth, only 3% are black business owners. That means 720,000 black people worldwide own businesses. Only 720,000. I didn't say in America, I said worldwide. Turned down for what? The question arose. Because out of 73% of all African American mothers aged 37 and down, and these are stats you can check, 73% of African American mothers have transferred some form of drug addiction or infirmity to their child. The drugs were sold at the hands of a black man.
Yes, sir.
So those same drugs that messed up the children or gave them the infirmity was sold from a black man. You said turned down for what? 20% of black children are never reared in the home. 80% of black children are never reared in the home with a father. The father's not in the house. 89% of all blacks in America, and this includes most of you, that means 89 out of 100 rent of some sort. Did you hear me? Rent. You are renting. Turned down for what? Hip-hop artists from the year 2000, of the ones 99 and back, but from the year 2000 forward, gives back a whopping 0% of their wealth to African American communities. 0% of those hip-hop artists that you are supporting from the year 2000 and forward give a whopping 0% of their wealth back. You said turned down for what, Taylor? Because the likelihood of a black man dying from violence is 75%, and 68% of that violence is gunshot. That means it's avoidable murder. Turned down for what? Black women are aborting 38% of their pregnancies, and 52% of those children are born babies. Black women are aborting 38% of their children, and 52% of those children are boy babies. What does that equate to? That means between abortion, prison, and murder, an African American woman has a 9% chance of marrying a black man, and only a 13% chance of ever getting married, period. Why? Because the babies are dying and there's no men around other than in prison, dead and being aborted. With regard to schools, the dropout rate. You say, well, why would you come here and talk? Because this is the stuff that's causing the black-on-black murder. The dropout rate for black males is 67%. That means 67 out of 100 black men that are walking around next to you does not have a high school diploma. Yeah, that's going to equate to violence. That's going to equate to a lot of foolishness, because 67 out of 100 of them is not graduating. The question arose in a song, turned down for what? Because we are free, but we are not equal. Did you hear me? I said we're free, but we are not equal. Black males. A black man is subject to get more time. He's going to get more time for writing a bad check than a Vietnamese male will get for writing a bad check. He's going to get more time than a Vietnamese man will get for a bank robbery. Turned down for what? I'm here today because I survived. I'm the one out of the 4 that didn't get killed, that made it to be 50 years old. I'm one out of the 4. I'm here because you got a choice. I want you to make that choice. If somebody's going to challenge judges and jury pools, that choice is here today. Today it's all about a choice. Will you continue to talk, or will you be a listener and a survivor? What does black males know about urban or DC policy? I know what's wrong with urban and DC policy. Domestic policy is broke. If domestic policy is broke, it doesn't matter what happens in DC. You got a choice here, March 4th. Guns and graves or dreams and drives. Which one are you going to choose? You got a choice today. What does a black man know about foreign policy? I know that my father went to Vietnam and made it back home. That's foreign policy to me. I know that when the American Army gave him a gun, he knew who to shoot at. That's foreign policy to me. Today is about a choice. Martin Luther King had a great dream. It was a great dream. But many of you sit down at the lunch counter and you stayed there. You gave up your dream for the drive. So I'm going to give you 4 points and we're going to leave. We're going to let somebody else talk to you. Turn down for what? Drive for what? Drive because our lives have taken a nosedive. Drive because our women have become diminished. Back in the day when you heard a song about a woman, it was us telling you how much we loved her. I really love her. Place no one above her. Now you're being called bees and whores.
Yes, sir.
And you're dancing and you bopping your head to it. Drive because dreaming at the lunch counter has you took a permanent seat and you lost your own businesses. Black women go to Korean women to get their nails done and their hair done. But what do they come to you for? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You got the skills to do the same thing and will not support one another. Drive because out of on average, 118 of us a year is being slain in Kansas City. So if there was 118 males out here today, the average would be that 118 of you would not see 2018. It's time for a new course. It's time for a new coalition. I'm a part of that new coalition. A new countertop. A new command, a new commander, a new camaraderie. The old camaraderie isn't waiting. A new commitment. What is that new commitment? That new commitment is for you looking for change in your own children. Taking the responsibility for yourself. Drive because prisons have bad policies. Drive will cause prisons to change bad policies. Drive above self-hatred and horror. Drive above babies and abandonment. Babies and abandonment's not going to help anybody. Anybody can have a baby, but once you abandon the home, that's it. Drive above votes and scapegoats. Drive above Trump tripping. Let me stop there. Most of you are Trump tripping. You so worried about Trump, you can't get yourself together. Donald Trump's policies will probably never affect your life because you're not doing much in the first place. You are Trump tripping.
Hello.
Drive above what you don't have and using what you got. How do I drive? I drive like that. Young man, you have pulled your pants down as a symbol of independence. Now I want to invite you to take off some other garments. The garments of rage and ruthlessness. Those are the garments that you're wearing. The garments of hatred and hostility. The garments of iniquity and envy. Envy is causing you. You're not jealous of me because you don't own me. Jealousy is the righteous indignation for that which is your own.
Yes, sir.
But envy is when you hate me because you want what I got, but you're not willing to do what I done. We don't know the difference. There's a lot of envy in the hood because you're not willing to do what somebody else does. Garments of murder and madness. What are you murdering for? You're not murdering because it's going to make you successful. What are you murdering for, black man? You're murdering because you're hostile about what you do not have. I'm inviting you. You pulled your pants down and you said we're not pulling them up. We're going to wear them down because your mind is down. Yeah, you pulled your pants down, but I want to invite you to take off these garments. The garments of hate and hostility, murder and madness, the garment of disunity and in the hood without impunity. There ought to be punity for that. If you kill my child that's sitting in a car that's 8 years old, you ought to get the death sentence. Did you hear me? I said you ought to get the death sentence. But black people will stand up and say, no, they're doing us wrong. No, they're doing you wrong by you not allowing yourself to see that that person needs punity for that crime. Garments of rebels and rebellion. It's like young people take pride in being a rebel and rebellious. Well, there is a scripture, and I don't want to get preachy, but there is a scripture that says a rebellious child will not live out half of his days. Well, the days you were promised are 70, half of that's 35, and you was already promised you won't live out half of that. That's why you're not reaching 35 and 25, because God's hand is in it. He's allowing you to die because you are rebels and rebellious. I don't need that. Rebels and rebellious. Young lady, lady, I want you to try on a new dress tomorrow. Even if you can't afford it, I want you to put on a new dress. And then be that dress that you tried on. And watch the tide change of life. Because women, you are the moral compass of society. The more you take off, the more crazy we get. I said the more you take off, the more crazy we get. Now this is something that's not popular, but it's true. I can take you to any prison and any graveyard in America, and I guarantee you behind it, some black man is dead because of something, or white, they was trying to do to impress a woman. When we sell those drugs, it's not for each other. They're doing that to get money to get the woman. When they murder each other and they have those fights, they're not doing that because they really hate their homie. They want the woman to think that they can fight and they are capable of handling their own. These crimes take place because of you. You are the moral compass to society. Young lady, I want you to, after today, a woman earns on average 60 cents per hour less than a man on a dollar. I want you to not, when you leave here today, stop settling for inequality. Why? Because you can't buy meat cheaper than me. You can't buy milk cheaper than me. You don't buy diapers cheaper than a man. So the only time a man has the right to look down on you as a woman, if he's reaching down to pull you up. If he's not reaching down to pull you up, he has no right to look down on you. Inequality has no place in our lives. Finally, it's time for society to look. It's time for society to look at their own front door. Your own front door is what has caused your problem. You look around today as I close, and I wanted to make sure I got those points out because I really don't need any notes to talk. And as I take this last 5 minutes, I want you to see something. There's disunity out here. Disunity is some of you come, but most of you didn't bring those young men that are in jeopardy. You didn't talk to your little nephew. You didn't demand him, but you'll make him go to the baby shower. You'll make him come to a church service where he's not liable to get killed. Everybody in our house is going to church, that's fine. But they're going to church and they're coming home and getting killed. But when we start talking about stuff like this, about guns, the reason why young men are fascinated by guns is because their uncles and their cousins and their brothers have felony records and they can't take them to the gun range. I started taking my son to the gun range at 10 years old. And then when I found out his friends wanted to go, I took them too. And I took them for 5 years straight till they was 15. And I let them fire 9mm at walls and targets and stuff like that. Now, they're not fascinated by a gun because they see the power of a gun. Every man wants to shoot a gun, and if any man out here tell you he don't, he's a liar or he's this. All men like shooting guns because guns let you feel the power that it gives off, and you know it's a symbol of finality. But what's the bottom line? The bottom line is we got to be men. That's why I'm trying to get some of you to register, to get your felony record expunged. So you can be able to take your son to the gun range. So you'll be able to take him out in the woods and let him fire at deer and shoot at birds. They need to know what it feels like to shoot a rifle. Not at somebody, but in the atmosphere and learn what it is. This is what's missing in the community. What's missing in the community is vision and direction of what boys really need and what girls really need. So we talk a big game, but we don't give them the action that is actually needed for them to be able to do what they need to do. Every man is fascinated by the gun. How is really a lot of people are getting tired from buying guns because the federal government have people planted in the community that's selling you the gun and then snitching on you that they sold you the gun so they can put you in jail. How much of a fool are you? And I'm talking about your partner will sell you a gun, and then to get less time, he will snitch on you that I sold so-and-so. It happened to Snoop Dogg. And if you don't believe me, just go to Netflix. As soon as he sold him the guns, I sold him this gun and that gun and that gun. And Snoop Dogg got put on federal probation for buying guns illegally on the street from a person he bought it from and gave him the money. Because this is the mentality that is out here. How stupid can you continually be? I'm going to tell you what's happening. So it's going on with impunity. So easy to get a gun. Yes, it's easy to get a gun, but it ain't easy to get out of the trouble that the gun will get you in.
All right.
And if the first thing you reach for, and you know, and I don't even say this about the activists, they come on television, cowards, they ain't even listening to you. It's like these preachers get on and all of them get on Christian television. You ain't talking to nobody but people that already believe in Christ. When I was on television for 9 years, I refused to do TVN. I wanted to be on 4, 5, and 9. I wanted to be on secular stations. And I came on at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. Why? I wanted to talk to them kids right before they went to work or went to school. I wanted them to see me in the lineup with Martin and all of them. I want to talk to the people that need to change. So the bottom line is as we endeavor, people start talking about crowds don't mean nothing. All that stuff builds. It builds on popularity. Everybody, most people are fickle. You tell them, hey, we got Houdini coming and Kirk Franklin. They coming, you know, because they want to fanfare around. But when it comes to real change, you're always going to get change agents. And that's what I am. I am an agent of change. I don't worry about success or success. Anything I do is going to be successful. Why? Because I've got the drive to make it a success. The bottom line is I might be talking to the choir out here. And I'm going to say something to you in rebuke. That's your fault. Because if you got a wayward nephew or a wayward neighbor, you should have been objective enough. This is not a church service. So you didn't have to worry about that. Oh, they don't want to come to church. Anybody could want to come to the Plaza. Promise them an ice cream, whatever it takes, to get them to hear something that's going to change their very life. Because life is precious and it's short. How many graduated high school in the last 30 years? Ain't it amazing that you've been out of school 30 years? You look around and say, my God, I've been out 30. This is crazy. How many remember high school? Some of y'all's memory can kind of get back that far.
Blur.
Running those steps.
All a blur.
Hanging out. And some of you still have many of those friendships. Those friendships are lifelong if you cultivated them. So as I come to a close and I'll call it a speech. This is a civic event. But God mandates civic events. What was Daniel? What was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? They were civic leaders. They were civic leaders. Most of the people are going to be civic people. Most of the Christians have to go back into society. So I want you guys that will be working with me as we go across this country, stop getting up here saying Pastor Taylor, just say Devan A. Taylor. Stop getting up here apologizing. If you cuss, whether you're in front of me or ain't in front of me. That's what I love about Pat Clark. Pat gonna say what he gonna say, what he gonna say. You didn't apologize to me, because I can't forgive you anyway. And some cuss words ain't even a sin. Peter cussed, lied, and denied. And then stood up on top of a soapbox and preached 3,000 people to Christ the same day. Peter, Jesus' #1 disciple, pulled out his gun, a.k.a. sword, cut off the man's ear in front of Jesus, just for getting in Jesus' face. This is the Christ that we served. He was radical. Jesus said, put your sword back in its sheath and follow me. This has to be done. So in other words, what am I saying? I'm saying to you, Facebook Live, that this turning around rally is about turning it around. And anytime you turn it around a big old bus or a big old ship, it takes a long time to push that joke and keep going in that other direction. Now we can go somewhere and take it somewhere. All I would say to you is, do you have the patience? Come on, put your hands up like this. Do you have the patience to wait on that stern, to turn that big? How many of you have been on a cruise? How many been on a cruise? And then you're going to the Cayman Islands and you're going to Ocho Rios, Jamaica. And when they take off from Miami, those boats don't make no quick turns. They make long, slow turns. So that, he's there and he's turning. This is going to be a long. Why? Because we got into this trouble a long time ago. You want to know from who? You parents. Saying stupid stuff like, I want to give my children more than I had. I don't. I want to give them what they earn. I don't want to give them more than I had.
All right.
You say all of that stupid stuff, and then you start trying to buy friendships with your children.
See?
That is the most stupid thing I ever heard in my life. I was never my mama's friend.
All right.
I said I was never her friend.
All
There was
right.
always respect demanded.
Amen.
There was things I never said to her. I never could raise my voice to her. Hold on, boy, even if she was wrong, hold on, don't forget who you talking to.
All right.
And some of you, you're so watered down and you're so jelly toasted, you're hung without backbone, that just to have a relationship of your daughter still coming over and letting you see the grandbaby, keep the grandbaby. She can go back up the fallopian tubes if I got to give up my dignity. You don't give up that position because society gets worse and worse when the parents get weaker and weaker.
All right.
You must take that stand. When that nephew comes over, he shouldn't be calling you Gina and Tina. He ought to be putting a handle on it.
All right.
I demand young people to put a
Yes.
handle on it with me. I'm never Devan to you. I'll never be Devan to you. There are some people I'm Devan to, but I will never be. That's pride. No, it's not. You need to put a handle on it. We have to get society back, and the only way you get it is by demanding individual respect. Say that after me. Say individual respect. Now, if your shorts is gathering right here, lady, and you asking for that respect, it's going to be a little hard. So there's going to be some things that you're going to have to do that will make you appear to be respectable. You're wearing see-through dresses and a chain back here, and they can see the panties through it. It's hard for people to equate those two.
All right. See it.
So yeah, I can get on script and I can get off script because I know about what's happening in life. I still respect him. When I come in his house, I'm still honorable in his house. Any older lady, I call her yes ma'am, no ma'am. There's nothing wrong with that. It gets you a long way in life. And this is what you need to go back to the hood and demand. I demand it from my employees. Don't come calling me my first name because you hear my sister I told you my name is Mr. Taylor, and that's what you're going to call me if you're going to work here. You say, that shouldn't be a criteria for working there. Yes, it is. That's what I demand. So at some point, we're going to have to get, and it's gonna require y'all figuring it out. And it starts with this little crowd here. That's what Jesus had. He didn't have no 53, he had 12. And one of them was a betrayer.
All right.
You don't need the big crowd. You need serious people in serious places. That's what you need. Say it after me. Say serious people in serious places. I was going to go buy all of this equipment to do this. And then out of the blue, I never asked nobody, never said that, yeah, I got the money to do what I want to do. But God lets me bump into Dan Boyd. Let me get some credit where credit is due. He lets me bump into Forrest. Forrest say, oh, I can feel it. I've got this and that. When you buy those gadgets, you think you're buying it for your entertainment, but God has a plan. Dan said, man, let me do it. And I thought about it. Yeah, let you do it. Why not? That stuff don't need to sit in this beautiful basement. He lives in a lavish home inside the suburbs. Very nice home. So what? Get out here and do something with what God gave you.
Right.
It'd be easy. I can be anywhere right now. I can get on any plane, anywhere, at any time. And that's not arrogance, that's just the truth. Jump on any plane, I can be anywhere. I'm here trying to find the other serious people. Talking to you about what you're going to have to demand. You have got to stop trying to be friends with young people. You have to check them. And the check don't have to be cussing them and all that. pull him to the side. I had a young guy, I'll give you a classic example. I was talking to him, I said, hey man, I had about 45 of my flyers. I said, I want you to take these flyers and put them on every table here in the mall. He's like, hey man, I don't be working for free. I said, really? I said, that ain't even no work. I said, that's a civil duty. Now I read this, now he starts to get sheepish a little bit. I'm watching him. I'm like, no, I said, go put them on every table for me. He said, man, hey man, you ought to be giving me some dollars. I said, give you some dollars for what? I asked you to do something. I'm asking you. I said, did I come? He said, no, OG, you didn't come disrespectful. I said, did I say anything to hurt you? He said, no. I said, is there anything on there bad? He said, no. He said, man, I see where you're coming from. And he started passing them out like I told him. That's what he should have done in the first place. Do I feel bad? No. In fact, take 50 more and go out in the parking lot. You ain't doing nothing else. Stop letting them live in your house. Our parents, when we got jobs, we had to contribute back to the home. They have no respect for you or your money because you disrespecting your own money. I got my first job, real job, 11 years old. Shop and Go Markets. I remember that check was $198.14. Guess how much of it I spent? Zero. I showed my mother. She says, I'll take that. She cashed it. I never got none of it. My mother took that check, she cashed it, and contributed back to the house. If you was gonna stay at the house past 18 years old, guess what?
All right.
You had to put some money on one of the bills.
Yes, yes.
But y'all, some of y'all are saying that, all right? But you got kids that ain't doing nothing. I ain't saying nobody just said that. I'm just saying that this is what's happening.
Okay.
You got to demand them to be responsible. And the reason why you don't demand it is because some of you are hurting for relationships so bad. You want relationships so bad, and you got that one child that just seems like, but they really running you over. They do whatever they want to in your house.
Wow, wow.
That son. I remember one time I was at the house and there's a lot of noise downstairs. Like, the house is pretty big. Go there and see what's going on. I get down there, it's about 4 white guys, 9 black guys, they all in Josh's room. But Josh really don't have a room. Those are all my rooms. I walked in, I seen 3 40 ounces. I seen 3 40 ounces. I didn't see the dope, but I did see the 40 ounces. Like, Josh, what's going on here? Oh, Dad, we just chilling. And as he said chilling, I almost broke my thumb because I cracked him right in front of him. And it turned in, he didn't try to fight back, he kind of knew better than that. And then they wasn't getting out fast enough, I pulled out my gun. I said, I'll kill all of y'all because y'all know me, I coached most of them. I'll never forget this day. I coached most of them in basketball and all that. I said, y'all knew, even if Joshua was disrespecting my home, that this is not how I run things. I want you to get every bottle, pick up everything, and you got less than 5 minutes. Mr. Taylor's crazy.